This is the Manufacturing Automation Podcast. I'm Michael.
And I'm Matt. In this podcast, we're going to discuss growing companies, automation and manufacturing,
and how we're building the lives and businesses we want to see in the world.
We're back on the map. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends and family so we can get our follower count up and get the word out about how we're going about automation and what we typically talk about. So general feelings of the week, sales and marketing, engineering and R&D, company-wide updates and improvements, weekly tasks that we kind of challenge each other to, or something personal. So kind of short intro this week. Sometimes I go longer if you want a longer one. Listen to it last week.
Yeah, that was a longer one.
Yeah, so general feelings, Michael. Do you want to go first this week?
Sure. It's been, I've been on my kick of trying to quote unquote care less. And
2 weeks in a row now. So.
Yeah, well, 2.5.
2.5.
And
okay.
That has been going, I think, exceptionally well in the best way possible. I think, we kind of have been looking at the different classes of our customers, and there's customers who are amazing and really responsive. Just laying out our core value of reciprocity, telling every customer, especially on the semi-turnkeys where we're dependent on them putting aside 4 hours to make any progress, right? Because it's going to be 10 hours of work from one of their people. Just saying, okay, we're going to respond at the same cadence that you respond to us. And if that means we knock it out, in a day and everyone's on Slack and on FaceTime calls, awesome. But on the other end of that, if you respond every third day, we're probably not going to be that slow of a cadence. But that has just been such a stress relief off of me, because now I don't feel like this guilt trying to push these giant boulders of, not even stubborn, but I guess just really busy customers where it's not a priority, trying to push them.
You're just always you're always in a reactionary standpoint when you're waiting for that. Because we'll have the same thing for R&D or projects when they get to the end is always the tough point for us, because stuff slows down and then they're in a testing mode and they're waiting for their testing certification to go through. But then same thing with you, they all of a sudden hit you with a fire, your instance probably a week out or a couple days out. Us is months. It's we didn't plan for this week. Next week maybe.
Yep. And I've been much more aggressive about disclosing that up front. When people are responding, I have a little copy paste, just a gentle reminder, we are going to implement this at the cadence that you respond to us. And those things have made I think customers know when they're being annoying or frustrating, and so do vendors, right?
Have you had any apologies or interesting stories come out of this? I feel like there has to be one.
There was one, and I guess it's just standing our ground too. We had one customer say, "Oh, we're going to pay that bill," in person, right? And it was their fault that the machine wasn't set up properly, and then they just were "Nope, we're not going to pay it," and just trying to let go and not care so much, it became, "Nope, we're not going to help you finish implementing until that bill is paid." And that mindset, I've just honestly, I've been not assertive on a lot of these things for way too long. And now that I just kind of know, it just makes everything smoother. I'm surprised, the customer relationships are getting better, cash flow is smoother. It's just been a really nice shift.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I had Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'll say I had an interesting conversation with a customer today. So very large company. All of a sudden their invoice, they're always they pay a day late. That's just been them. We've done work with them for years. It's just, I've gotten used to it. All of a sudden several of their invoices were overdue. I'm this is just abnormal for them. So we send them the updates. They allegedly changed their invoicing email address.
Okay.
At that point. And now they're all over, they have overdue pay, fees and stuff like that at that point. And they're well, we shouldn't have to pay these. And I'm where's the email that you told us you changed we arbitrarily had this new address to send to. It was just a new one. I was I don't even know how to have this conversation. I just thought it was an interesting story that popped up because you're people not paying on that one. But it's I don't know if you've ever seen that with large corps.
Oh God.
We've got a new invoice or email address. Why?
Or just can't move. And then, we find especially buyers will just push you around. And I think that's been one of those breaking the ceiling things for me. and why like we had these AR issues is we went from these shops that maybe capped out at 25 to 50 employees to these multi-billion-dollar companies. And I don't think we were used to dealing with these purchasing agents who are like their entire job is to like screw you over into like not pay you for as long as possible and use all their vendors as a bank, right? And like when that became clear, that it made those customers much easier to manage and understand. Oh, we got to treat them differently, and we also have like 3 sets of rules for the 3
Yeah.
tiers of customers.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's why it took so long where I was like, they're just gonna pay. They always pay a little late. It's not
yeah,
a big
yeah,
deal. And like I'd said that a couple times, like, this is out of the norm.
yeah. But I mean, like one thing that I've never really done is like we've never really done late fees, even on like milestone based payments, and like so there's the like pulling back and not panicking and trying to solve everybody's problem, even though 90% of them are self-imposed, right? That has been huge and has let me like pull a level up and think strategically. And then that has just been a general mindset shift where I feel like I'm working on the business a lot more, and it just feels like things are falling into place. We have like shifted. We had our one time and materials client come back with a vengeance, where it's like, okay, go 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 go. And the way that I tried to scale that was by saying, okay, we're going to outsource to a bunch of machine shops, to a bunch of engineering firms. I changed that vendor process where like I'm only taking new vendors on referral. I try to be 20% of their revenue. I try to do it with shops, 10 to 20% of our size. And then we rolled that out to engineering. That's worked really well. And I feel like I've like very easily like scaled the business. When I have fought very hard for, you know, 3, 4 times as long before, spent more money and had like a more difficult result. And it just feels like everything's clicking into place. Like our SEO is working, and now that we have a new SEO firm and actually have a stupid checkout button that populates correctly on on mobile, and like literally that, our Shopify store has gone from 10% of our revenue to 25, and it's happened within a 3-week period. So I feel like everything's clicking into place, but there is a stress because like from a couple months ago to September, there's like a 2.5 to 3x revenue difference. So September was great, but um,
As
getting
in it
that
went up or down, you're saying
up,
now then.
up.
Okay.
Well, August went down because of a bunch of non-late payments. So September's definitely skewed, but from the historical, you know, 3 to 6 months before that, we kind of have like instantly doubled. From changing how we manage the AR. This seems like the staff is able to do more, and I think the big thing is like on the like SEO has been a huge thing for us. And I didn't think it could. It's finally at the point where it's like clicking.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in SEO, and now we're going to see how AI is going to continue to play into that, and that's something I'm keeping my eye on right now. That'll be a
But
good segue in sales and marketing.
yeah, well, I guess we got to do yours first.
Yeah.
Um, like I do have the stress of hiring right now, so like I'm able to manage a lot of these things. We went from just having a head of engineering position to now we also have an assembly tech position open because I kind of see one of our assembly techs moving out of that spot and getting promoted. Um,
Yeah, you talked about that a little bit.
and then and now we have like an admin position because I've been delegating quotes to quoting and customer service and stuff to Priscilla, who now isn't able to do her core job functions of like working on marketing and more strategic things. So I have a lot of stress right now because we're understaffed severely enough.
Are you
You know,
to your comment, I'm going to
uh-huh.
try and bring this back to, and feel free to challenge, your comment about caring less
Uh-huh.
is, you're understaffed, or is it, do you just need to start pushing some of your deliverables and expectations to your customers further out? Yeah. My question is it something that you need to staff up this aggressively, or like we've talked about on previous podcasts, you need to set the expectations for some of your customers that the delivery dates are just going to be later?
Yeah. So well, one thing I made a commitment to myself is like 1 employee per month. Like that's
Okay.
like the cadence I'm willing to
I
hire
like
at.
that.
even if I slow the growth, because I've made this mistake. I've gone through before and 2x revenue with the right project and some changes, and hired way too many people way too fast. I
You probably
did,
lost money then through it when you should have made
yeah,
money.
lost money when I should have made. Yeah, so I've been through it. Um, so like these things need to happen. But I'm also in that spot like I know how to run like a couple $1 million a year business, and I know that I don't really know how to run a $3 to $6 million a year business. So have that feeling like I'm at that like glass ceiling right now of like I got to figure out how to break through it. Um,
Have you ever just thought of hiring an operations person and then working for them? Or maybe not working for them, but
sure,
just
yeah.
getting a lot more stuff off your plate and looking at
hmm
that, maybe not operations, but somebody to run the business for you.
You know, that's a whole other conversation because I'm enjoying running the business a lot more.
Okay.
And that's been a big transition as well as like I'm not really jumping in to move these R&D projects super quick anymore. I know that's kind of sudden. Um, and I'm enjoying running the business more. And
There's there
uh-huh.
can be different ways of it because like for
hmm
me, I don't want to run Gantt charts or
Yeah.
daily project management. What I want to do in terms of, you know, I guess if you want to look at it, CEO versus COO.
Right. Yeah.
I much rather be in the CEO role of where's the ship going than making sure the ship is still firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you. We need a COO, but it's like at what point can you do that? And at what point does it make sense? I'm honestly, to be super candid, just kind of wrapping my head around paying somebody like 150 a year in general, which, for like a really top-notch person to like build our engineering department, like that's probably the market rate in LA. Um, and the and actually hiring a COO is an even higher number than that. So, and maybe that's one of the things I need to, break my how aggressive do I want to be?
Yeah,
There's
I'm so
all of these, yeah.
yeah, I'm so disconnected when you say those numbers because we're in middle
Yeah.
of the US and everybody I've talked to is like, yeah, you basically just need to take anything that you hear in California numbers and cut them in half. And that's about
Yeah.
the cost of living. That's the cost of pay. And I'm like, okay, those numbers seem to math for me.
Yeah.
Like
That
make
sounds
sense
about
with
right.
what people if some you were trying to hire somebody for those roles out here, like it would be like is
Yeah.
the numbers that I hear.
Yeah. And I'm looking at I don't know. I'm so like right now our policy on like work from home is like not at all. And unless you're a contractor, because if you're a contractor, I can give you an isolated project. There's clear deliverables. It's managed differently.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that fact does make it tempting because almost nobody who's one of our like small outsource vendors doing design or machining work, none of them are in LA, right? And that's why it's affordable. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it is crazy, but it is you're just in a rough market
yeah,
for
yeah,
pay in person.
yeah. And well, I mean that's why our staff relative to revenue seems small versus the rest of the U.S. I think it's probably true throughout California. Um, in any kind of engineering firm style thing. And it's also why, like, now, we started offshoring a lot of our part manufacture, and now we're with the tariffs and with the quality control issues, it made so much sense to bring it back stateside. But where are they going? They're going to Wisconsin and Iowa and everywhere but Los Angeles, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But what are your general feelings of the week?
I feel about the exact same as last week. It
Okay.
feels like it's been a solid flow. Like as I was prepping, as anybody that's been listening to us for a while, we lean into AI quite a bit at
Mm,
this point. So like I have ChatGPT prep what I was doing this week, and now I leverage my prep into helping me prep for the podcast because it knows what I should have been doing, how it went, and then it can look back on previous weeks. And
yep.
I fed it in there, and it was like the question it asked is like, all right, everything's feeling the same over the last or looking very similar over the last couple of weeks. How does it compare to Q2, Q3, which is
Right.
or the Q1, Q2, sorry, now that we're Q3 going into Q4 or in Q4 as of yesterday.
Yeah.
How did it feel? And it's like, it was clunky in the beginning of the year on our sales cycle as we were changing a lot of that up, as we were cleaning up a lot of stuff and changing our process, kind of similar to what you've been going through. It's just like, it's been awesome now that we have 3 people on deck for sales proposals,
Hmm.
or 4 technically. We have 3 pipeline processes. So like I feed it in, and then who's ever available grabs the proposal,
Yeah.
turns it, and then it goes onto a secondary for review in CAD. And it's like, now we've hit the process where like if I have a meeting with somebody, I book the follow-on meeting, like saying your proposal is going to be ready in roughly 5 to 10 business days. Let's pick a
Yeah.
time out in that point and get it on the calendar. And it's just been so much fun hitting this flow of like, I have follow-on meetings that are planned already, and it just like, it's cruising through, which is a
Yep.
blast for me.
Yep. That's awesome.
So I don't know. It doesn't feel clunky. It feels like we've got flow, and it's going across the board. Cause I know we talked about like, we've had a lot of suppliers over the last 5 years now. And now that we know what we really like and don't like in the automation space of suppliers and componentry, we've got people going out and we're doing a wide net cast of like all these projects we've bid, looking at comparable componentry, and we're
Mhm.
getting we're looking at new vendors and stuff like that and comparing them on metrics that we really care about. For us, a lot of it's reliability and uptime.
Yep.
So that's one key metric. Another one being how close to us are they as a supplier? Because like say you're a packaging equipment or something,
Hmm.
can we drive over and see it?
Right.
That's a portion of it. So I
Yep.
don't know. It's been
That's funny. You're
enjoyable.
moving closer. We're moving farther.
Yeah, it's well, we're in the area you're moving to.
Yeah, that's true.
But like it's been really cool to see the relationships we're building there for strategic partnerships, if you will, or suppliers, but then also give our customers better value as well. A portion of that is also there's kind of this side goal of being able to, as we scale develop, be able to acquire some of these other companies. And so that's
Yep.
been some of the fun conversations I've had with a few of them, because as that's been shared, there's been some opportunities that have been popping up. We've got a lot of projects that use pallet magazines.
Yep.
There's been a few that we've used. There's things that we like, we don't like. There's a lot of people that make some of these components. Same thing with like vibratory bowl feeders. Okay, who else is out there? Let's cast a net. Let's get metrics and updates, make sure that we're getting the highest value solution for our customers based on the things that we've learned over the last decade of doing this. Really learned a lot more in the last 5 years of the minutia details
Yep.
of these suppliers. So digging into that. And then the other metric is just learning more about which one of these are looking to exit in, say, the next 10 to 20 years or less, and set up some strategic relationships, because Develop would love to, one of our goals is to be the most vertically integrated automation integration companies or machine builders on the planet. So can we pick up some of these smaller companies, as
Yeah.
we go there?
I want to talk about a bunch of this, but you want to do it in CIs? Roll into marketing. 'Cause
Sure.
I got a ton of like vendor tracking and metric stuff I've been working on.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I know we've talked about what
yeah,
Develop's been working on, so I'm assuming you've got something rolling. We can roll into it right now if you want to, and go a little bit out of flow.
so that's your call. Yeah, why not? Let's do it. We haven't been
Sure.
changing it up.
Yeah, I mean that's part of our sales and marketing anyways. We're doing it
Yep.
to make sure we're getting the highest value pitch to
Yep.
our customers.
So what I've been doing lately with our vendors is, first off, I've changed our standard to, unless we have something weird, if it's like a domestic company, I don't know, I've kind of landed on the idea that the easiest way to like have an ideal customer for like, a B2B is to serve a customer, or serve your customer who's 5 to 10 times larger or more, right? Because presumably they're, at least have a level of scale where it makes the purchases very, very easy to justify. And the pricing is a huge win-win. And we're finally kind of at the scale where I can do that going downward, right? Finding, vendors for us who are 5 to 10 times smaller. And that has been a huge win. I've changed that process to pretty much like by referral only. So I found like, 3 or 4 awesome guys through Instagram who then referred me to other vendors. And I think a couple other vendors I got from, and we did this with everything, with like our new SEO firm, with like a little bit of outsourced engineering. And then the way I started to manage it, we go and like, I'll record a 5-10 minute Loom video. after doing like the intro and structure call, get the rates negotiated or whatever. And then do the Loom video, send like a SolidWorks pack and go, and just see how it goes. And then, some amount of those work great. Some don't, but
What is your
uh-huh.
what is your I guess on that, what does it turn into for your vendor management
Yeah.
because of lack of SOPs that
Yeah.
they're going to have?
Yeah.
Because like for me, like when I went for an SEO firm, I had gone kind of on those extremes of suppliers, and it's like the best one that we found was actually about our same size.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and so they had the similar structure for SOPs. They were growing in a similar track. Like
Mhm.
that seemed to work best for us. So I'm curious to
Sure.
see
Yeah.
the pains you're having here.
I guess the thing is like and a lot of these vendors are the guys, like the Jim Collins book, Small But Mighty, about like the
Yeah.
really small. Like there are a lot of companies and people who want to be, they want to make $250,000 a year or whatever, but they want it to just be them. And those guys, if you can get in front of them, usually their biggest problem is having exposure to their ideal customer. If you are the ideal customer and you find that guy, you can find a brilliant 1 or 2 or 3 person company who can, move mountains for you. And candidly, I think a similar size firm like to your own company, they can do the work. It's just generally my experience is 2 to 3 times as expensive, right? And then, and basically that narrows down. But by going with the smaller firms, you have opportunities to, do more things simultaneously. But yeah, as far as like the SOPs go,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
yeah,
disagreeing with like
sure, yeah,
having felt some of those pains. Like for me, I'm a huge believer in long-term sustainable
yep,
relationships, be it team members we hire, to suppliers we work with, to customers that we supply
right,
to. From my experience of what you're describing, that is not a sustainable thing. If those customers, like if they grow at any point, they'll
yeah,
outgrow you and they'll increase the
yep, yep,
prices. Uh, and then just the in general
yep,
communication around that and the burn on you, like that just
sure. Um,
sounds painful.
yeah, so I guess the first thing, and really a lot of this got driven. I got our SEO guy who's been amazing through referral through my like business owners group. And what he really made me see is like what makes me love a vendor or even an employee is when I become the bottleneck in a good way, where they already know what to do, they know how to do it, and they're pulling me in to get things done. Because I think everybody has had a vendor or a marketing firm or whatever at a business of a certain scale where you're always pushing,
But are you
right?
talking to the owner of this company?
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing is they're small companies
Yeah,
that,
because I think back
yeah,
to like when Gimbal was small or
yep,
Develop was small, you were talking to Matt or Michael.
right,
And I know exactly how that was for our
yep,
customers, but then I also know the pains that as we transitioned
yep,
out, we had to outgrow those customers because they
yep,
kind of did the same thing you're doing.
100%,
And then we
100%.
had to work up. So then they're not going to be your supplier
No, they won't.
in the
Yeah,
future, is what you're saying.
yeah, yeah. So that is the one of the big trade-offs is, like because I ran a quick turn job shop, and literally within 2 years, none of my customers were the same. And I'm very upfront with that. I've told a lot of these guys, hey, if you're gonna grow your business, that's awesome, and you're probably gonna shed us as a customer if like we're still using the strategy. That's cool, right? I'm using it as like almost as like rocket fuel, and I see these like I want them to be as long term of relationships as sustainable. But realistically, the people there are talented. They are going to grow. I don't honestly see a lot of these things going past 4 years because they're going to move on to the next thing. Um, yeah, that is one of the bigger downsides of this
Yeah.
approach.
I kind of want to watch this play out. I am
Yeah,
curious. We can
yeah,
timestamp it. I'll be curious to see
sure,
what you're
yeah,
saying about
yeah,
it in a year. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I just, like
yeah.
I said, it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah. And I mean, the big thing is like it only works with really great people. And yeah, about 100%. I guess like my perspective is on these smaller, firms, I almost think of them in my head as a part-time employee, that I'm managing a lot less. Right. So, and, with one of these that we kicked off pretty recently, we're just like responding Loom video to Loom video. Like I'm leaving comments on his Loom video with little mini Loom videos. and the pace isn't like really great. The development is really great. I guess for me, I kind of expect, at least in my labor market, you know, 1.5 to 4 years of employee turnover as like the average tenure. So to me, I guess if I look at it through that lens, it doesn't feel that bad.
Yeah. I don't
But
know.
yeah, it is a it is an aggressive strategy. I'm very aware of that.
Yeah, and it might be a shorter term solution too. Things can change for your business as you grow. So
Yep.
it might be the right solution for now.
Right.
And that's it. The right solution for now is a valid solution
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, I just think back to Matt, like, and I'm sure this is true for you. Like even 2 years ago, the business was so different.
oh,
I
100%.
mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
and I think of that, and I try to think about like super long-term vendors and even just the uncertainty in the market right now, with what's happening with tariffs. I've seen the manufacturing market all over the place. Um, with AI there, like I just don't even know if there's enough market certainty for me to be like to even know what's going to happen in 3 years.
Yeah, that's fair. Um,
I wouldn't have said that a year ago or a couple of years ago.
yeah, I just think of like, I just really enjoy, we have some great customers right now
Yeah.
and how strategic they are with us and how like we're looking at game plans years out. And
Hmm.
I guess that's also setting the pace for a lot of my decisions because when I have that ability to work with some of these customers, I can then set up our business based on that
Yeah.
strategy, which then I'm forced to focus on other things in our business.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's a big thing though. Like I think I don't get to do that because I'm getting an order of magnitude less money from every customer, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So yeah,
we're talking commas difference of
yeah, yeah,
business structure.
and I think that's part of the reason why it probably makes less sense, for you than it does for us, is that like we can come out with a new product line or this or that or the other thing, but I don't think we're ever going to realistically be doing anything that costs more than $100,000, unless we're a decade out and we're building entire integrated machines or something. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. And I don't see us doing anything under other than our automation assessments and
yeah,
partner
yeah,
programs, which are really a loss leader to get you into a
yeah,
machine
yeah.
build.
They're top of funnel.
Yep,
Um,
exactly.
the last thing about vendors that we did that's been awesome. Um, the first thing, we have a whole carve out now for the small vendors of like the way we pay them is different. Like we know like it's almost like their paycheck. So that we pay them like we send out ACHs immediately, like it's rather than our normal. Oh, we pay this day and this day of every month. Um, and we put all of our vendors now onto a vendor Gantt chart where we put the date of the PO, the date that they quoted, and then we can track.
Interesting.
And then as like the days go by, I can see if something's not going to happen on time.
You put it
Um,
in a Gantt chart. Why not just track it in QuickBooks accounts payable?
because I mean we're already using Gantt charts to manage our internal team. Like I can look and say this project was, the PO was sent on this date. It was scheduled for 4 weeks. We're at 4.5 weeks. Um, and then it's emailed to the vendor. I will literally screenshot their spot on the Gantt chart and say, this is where you're supposed to deliver. Do you need an extension? What's going on? Right.
Oh, you're saying for your I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
So you're tracking So yeah, we'll track deliveries or receivables on Gantz. Like we're anticipating a large weldment. We put a 12-week lead on it. It's supposed to be here. We always email X number of weeks prior to make sure they're still on time because it's usually just a good reminder on those long lead times. Okay, I see the way you're looking at it
Yeah.
there.
So,
We're
so like right here,
similar,
I
but
have
not the
like
same.
20 different POs open on this vendor GAN. It's not filled out yet, but it has like when the PO was sent, it spreads the span of when that work is supposed to be done, and then and I can see what vendors I've given extensions to and are still running late. I can see who's running on time, and that's been really huge because we would just send a PO, trust it would be done, then the thing didn't come in time. Then there wasn't a trigger for us to hold that vendor accountable and be like, hey, what's going on? And that has been a pretty big improvement for us.
Yeah, that's huge. You're going to want to create, if you haven't done this, we have spreadsheets. Actually, I don't know if it's an Excel or how the team, if it's a loop, it's not a loop. I don't know what they track it in, but we track what notes we have about those vendors as
Yep.
well. And we'll track. So say we have 3 weldment companies, what it was like working with them last time, what their deliveries were. So then when we're going out to quote, because we typically, our goal is to always have 3 vendors that
Yep.
we go out to quote with, and then we cycle that third one.
Right.
The
Yep.
last one's always on the chopping block. And that's
Yep.
kind of what we're going through right now is we're sending it out to 3 new ones for some of our key vendor relations because we want to clear out that bottom of the funnel, if you will, or
Right.
whatever that on the
Yep.
supplier list, because that means that they missed a deadline grossly multiple times. Like we'll accept like mistake. People are
Yeah.
human.
Yep.
Like we're humans here. We're gonna accept it, especially if you made it right.
Mhm.
Like if you made a mistake and you made it right, you actually kind of bump up on our list
Yeah.
and in trust.
100%. Right. Yeah.
So yeah,
I guess
okay.
I'm with you on that. The other thing is I'm just trying to stop fighting so many uphill battles. I don't know if I think I complained a little bit about our anodizing woes, right? Um, we're trying to make things easy, which means we want parts that are coming to us completed. So rather than having parts coming in, those are anodized. And we went from doing it all here, buy the material, water jet it, machine it.
Oh
Then
yeah.
then we have the parts coming in machine, and that's working really well. And then we would bead blast it and anodize it. Then we'd have problems with the anode vendor. Um, the then we try to shift that onto our vendors, that whole bead blast anode process. Rather than doing that, I decided, hey, like if I'm going to try to like level up as a business owner, like I'm telling myself I need to stop fighting these uphill battles, and bead blast anodize is one of them. And I asked if none of our customers cared. It was only me. So I just told all our vendors, hey, send it to whatever anodizer. Just don't bead blast it. And now parts are coming back nice, and it's like no effort.
Yeah, bead blast is
Yeah.
a pain in the butt added cost that
Yeah.
for your product it doesn't matter.
The thing is, like, we're good at it, you know, like when we were machining it, we know how to bead blast, and we know what 2 anodizers can handle it and do the bright dip correctly. And so like, but we didn't understand, like for anyone who hasn't made parts, done bead blast in-house and had an anodizer, then anodize it and get it right. Like, I don't know, it's 10% of vendors who can get like a non-splotchy like MacBook finish.
Well, and it's tough because like we've gone through a series of anodizers too, and it's
Yeah.
like there's only a few in our neck of the woods that I'm
Yeah.
happy with, and it's everywhere I've
Mhm.
worked with. It's like we're gonna try a different anodizer because this one's
Mhm.
getting really expensive again. It's like shit, we
Yeah.
went through and wasted all that money, threw those parts away, and
Yep.
we're
Yep.
back where we started.
It's those
I get it.
commodity businesses, though. It's like the same with trucking, you know, where like I think the reality is there's just not enough margin there, and then you know someone tries to optimize the business, the service goes down, and I think that's the problem with Anno.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Seems like a
we kind
solid
of
approach. Stop fighting those battles. It seems like if you constantly complain about something, it's not something that's wrong on the other side. It's something that's just not going to change, is what I'm
yep.
hearing, and I don't disagree with that one bit.
Yep. And the other thing too, I've just started doing is just sending Loom videos. I'm realizing like even with customers, like we'll have these chains of emails. No one can tell tone or whatever. Like just a Loom video adds some humanity to it, makes it feel personal. People aren't used to getting video. And both for vendors and customers, I feel like I'm putting less work in by recording one impromptu 4-minute video.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Loom as well, and just in general video, but
Yep.
I don't think I use it near as much as you.
Yeah, I go through fits and starts, but I think I'm in a Loom wave right now.
Yeah. All right.
Do you want to? And we kind of did a vendor thing. Do you want to hop back to marketing and sales?
Um, I think sale. Yeah. So it's actually, I have a topic that's going to transition perfectly out of
Okay.
vendors and something, and it's
Yep.
still in sales. We are seeing this solid reshoring trend that I am quite excited about that's coming through. So I've had now 4 customers within the last quarter here say that so 2 in particular have uh, customers that are bringing more work to them. One's already got the contract, one's in bid process. That's why they're coming to us for automation.
Mm-hmm.
Work's coming from India because tariff shifted enough. Large steel componentry is what these are on, where one would be extrusion processing on it. Other one's just a pick and place robotic assembly. Actually, and then some other assembly stuff. And then the other ones are people that manufacture their own products. They're saying we're bringing this back to the US. Yep. And I'm really enjoying seeing that trend. Now we'll see if that yields much for purchasing of automation equipment and if this actually happens. But it's interesting that the numbers, I guess 1 out of 4 is already happened.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out and if you're seeing anything similar.
I mean, we're doing it, right? Like we're onshoring right now.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
like companies that are spending
Oh, I know.
tens to twenties of millions of dollars a year on what
Yep.
they're bringing back. Like it's significant. I'm not saying that your stuff, it doesn't matter.
No,
I
I'm with
feel like
you on
that comes
that.
off wrong, but like
I
we're
wasn't suggesting I was your customer. But and we have some of those customers that are at that size. I mean, at least this month, it felt like August people were just looking, right? And September people were pulling the trigger. And I mean, we're a couple days into October and it seems to be continuing.
I'm chuckling because you're saying they were looking in August. I feel like for my business and people I talk to that do similar stuff to develop, it seems like everybody's been looking since like the end of last year.
Yeah.
Like it's just been this giant tire kicking and like record number of bids,
Yep.
record number of opportunities, like insane.
Mhm.
But closure rate is just
Yeah.
atrocious right now. But it's
Yep.
fine because we're cruising through, cleaning the dock, if you will, ready for when the wave comes.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say our closure rate was atrocious, but I feel like you just have a bigger lag, right? Like because the
Oh,
purchases are so much more expensive, the sales cycle is longer, the customers are more conservative, they're more corporate because they're bigger.
I'm really happy I saw some of this coming and layered in extra trade shows
Hmm.
already a year ago because I'm like, we have to have more leads in the funnel. We have to have more people we're
Right.
talking to, more bids. And it's like, I'm so happy we did that because while the closure rate's down, it's still sustainable.
Yeah. Well, do you want to roll into sales and marketing with that? Because more leads in the funnel is something that has been on my mind.
Okay. I basically covered my main
Yep.
things already in my general feelings and what we just talked about for my sales and marketing. I can't talk about a lot of the really exciting
Yeah.
stuff that I want to talk about in sales and marketing because they're deals we're putting together. But yeah, let's talk
Yep.
top of funnel.
Well, so I want to talk not top of funnel, but after.
Okay.
Because I felt like for, I don't know, 2-3 months, I was banging my head against the wall saying the exact same thing. I need more leads in the funnel, right? And I'm kind of convinced now, like, we changed some stuff on SEO. We made sure our website would actually had a checkout button that worked on mobile, which made a huge difference overnight, right? But when I saw our SEO working and I saw that our conversion rates were going up, I asked myself, like, how much better could our website be and how much people are we losing? So I started playing around and the things like abandoned cart checkout on Shopify, like where you capture their email, you email them.
Yeah.
Like I think I talked about this last week. We haven't even implemented that yet, but just making all of our site like designed to capture people's emails, whether it's discounts or whatever it is.
Oh yeah. If I'm a
Yeah.
buyer, I go to websites intentionally when I know I want to buy something.
Yeah.
And then I wait like 3 to 10 days, see if they send me a discount.
Yeah.
Like it's literally a buyer process that I
Yeah.
have.
But like most e-commerce sites lose 70% at checkout. We lose 50. And I'm like, but there's no
Wait,
process
70?
for
You're
reaching
saying,
back out.
I
Yeah.
want to make sure I heard that correctly. 70 or 7?
70%.
Okay.
The average e-commerce.
Got it. Okay.
But that's across all of e-commerce, and we're B2B. The people on our site have buying intent, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, what percent of that could I convert with the email thing? And I started making all these little tweaks. We added a button that says at the top, if you're like new to the website, you can go to it now. It's in like the very top banner, and it says sign up and save 5%. And I realized, like, if we can, the thing that works the best when we audited it, it's not Facebook ads, it's not Google ads, it's not even SEO, it's email marketing. So it just became this game of how do I capture your email? And even if I have to give you 5% off of a turnkey or like 5% off of your first purchase or whatever, that has been really huge for us. And
5% is the cost of acquiring leads through ads anyway. So
Yeah,
who cares?
more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and it's been a decent amount of work, but of talking with the dev guy, talking mapping it out, going back and forth with SEO. But I just concluded like we are selling 3x as many auto vices as we did a couple months prior. I'm like, oh, there's these systemic things we can do that are no additional work other than the work of the production and um, you know part procurement and shipping, right? There's obviously work and cost, but
Yeah.
um, where it's like more marketing rather than just sales. And so I've just been focused on conversion, and then top of funnel is kind of on the back burner for me. Yep. Oh,
Well, that
we
makes a
started
lot of
doing
sense.
email marketing every week,
Okay.
and
Yeah. Ours is on our
yeah,
bi-weekly cadence.
well, we were too, but we noticed that we were getting web traffic spikes and sales spikes. We just
Hmm.
said, what if we did every week, and we just doubled the spikes. So
Interesting.
that's where we landed. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Ours is, yeah.
mhm.
Okay. That makes sense.
But yeah,
For
you got to
your
have a slower nurture, right?
Yeah, that's where I was kind of going with it, but it's like your product, I think I'd be fine with that if I was on the consumer side. Ours is more educational. I don't, like you said, our sales cycles are just always so long. And that's where
Hmm.
ours has been so focused, like we were talking about earlier, is while I'm on the call, I want to be saying, all right, we've done a bunch of these palletizers before. It doesn't take us long to turn them. I shouldn't be waiting for my team to tell me, let's book the meeting now.
Yeah.
And our team's fine turning them as long. They just need a due date. And
Hmm.
so then we do it that way. That's been one of our main focuses. That was one of our OKRs since the beginning of the year is compress the time of meeting somebody to getting them a quote and then getting the quote to close has been a huge focus of ours. But either way, we were focusing on that and growing. So we need to do both. How do we make that faster?
Right.
So, and increase our top of funnel so then we can not only get our deal through faster, we can get through more
Right.
was our big focus. But we're on the cusp of going for some larger growth again. It seems like we go on some of these waves, and we're definitely setting up for some growth trajectory here.
Yep. But yeah, honestly, the other than like the website and CTA stuff, like it's been working, which is then causing all these other things to not happen. Like we're not posting on Instagram, and we're not caught up with YouTube videos, and so that's where like the hiring pains we're really feeling them right now.
Yeah, I haven't posted on Instagram since the summer, and it's like good grief. But it's like I don't know. I've never
Yep.
really seen a whole. I know we've talked about this in the past of like I just need more faces on it. My goal is to get it so I have more time for LinkedIn, and that was one of the challenges you had for me last week was what do I really want to be doing and continuing to watch that. And it's like I really just want
Yeah.
to spend time business development and educating customers that want to get serious about automation. Like, and or if they're not
Right.
serious about automation, creating products that need to be automated and helping develop those products. Like those are what I'm really excited about.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I'm just looking at systemic changes right now. For like your ebook, do you have to sign up for emails to get the ebook?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
like our program generator, I need to do the same thing.
we're
Definitely.
coming out with some cool stuff around that too, which I'm excited. We're making, or maybe I've talked about this previously, but it's I felt like as I read through that ebook that we created, I felt like it was so clinical. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't in my tone. I didn't have human story. Like this next one we're coming out with, it's gonna be a little bit longer than I wanted because I wanted it to be a brief kind of handbook. But it's gonna be littered with stories of lessons learned I have about automation and throughout my life of the way we do business and
Yep.
the customers that we're looking for in terms of how they want to grow their business. So I'm really excited about the new ebook and the tools that we're going to layer in it is like
Hmm.
literally everything we use on our top of funnel sales.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I push back for just a second?
Sure, fire away.
The question I'm asking a lot is like, does this thing matter? Right. And like for the ebook, the having an ebook or even having something halfway decent, like I put your site down as a note for my developer to reference as the like call to action, capture their information, then take them to, in our case, like a program generator.
Mhm.
I think like that's 90% of it, right? And I'm just curious, like, is that the lowest hanging fruit that you can address that'll drive conversions? Um,
What do you mean? I don't get the question.
well, I guess the question is like, how much does the ebook actually matter? Like, is that actually going to move the needle Because to me, in that sequence, the thing that seems most critical is that you capture the customer's information, and then you can put them on the email nurture campaign, or you can reach out, see if they're a good fit, right?
I see where you're going with it.
Yeah.
Is it necessarily the highest priority for marketing? No. And is it the highest priority on our list right now? No. Is it something
Yeah.
that I'm excited about and want to talk about
Okay.
right
Yeah.
now? Because we've got a bunch of
Yeah.
like, all right, we're going through, we just hired an agency out of Australia that's doing website optimization because our speed is atrocious. We're having a
Yeah.
bunch of bounce because of that. It's been a pain we've had for too long. That's a focus. There's weird things that just drive me nuts because as you get to know me as a
I'm glad you're
human,
getting someone else involved in that because
I am
the
like
yeah.
obscenely OCD about certain details, as you saw in our machines. And thankfully, our team now has that culture that it doesn't cost us anything to layer that in anymore. It just happens. But like, I go through our website and I see inconsistencies of like spaces,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
like it, oh my gosh, it just eats me alive. Or like, I'll see like a weird icon that looks different than the rest. And it's like, it was one of those when we were building, and it's like, Matt,
Yeah.
you have to let go. You
Yeah.
have to get the groundwork laid, and then we're going to bring somebody in to clean up. And so
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing now is we're cleaning our website up to bring it to the professional level that I really expect out of everything in develop.
Yep.
But I wasn't too excited to talk about that. I guess my passion kind of came through though when I talked about it, because it's like,
Yeah. No.
it ate me alive seeing like these, like, because I used to build a lot of our website because I cared so much about like spacing, like the top of fold. When you come to a website, I'm a big believer of a lot of people never scroll. So
Right.
you have
Yeah.
to get your content there. You have to get your call to actions there. And if you're wasting it with garbage images or garbage
Yeah.
white space, or white space that doesn't feel premium, it's lost value.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I'm with you. That's the thing I would actually love to do is just like record a Loom video and have us audit each other's websites of just like, I like this, I don't like this.
Let's wait a bit because I'm going through
Yeah.
boost here through the next
Yeah.
month here to update it. And then I'd love your candid feedback in like beginning of next month.
Yeah. And if you look at our website, all of our call to actions are different. Anything I want a user to click is now green, which is
Yeah, there
surprisingly
was a
effective.
period there where it
Yeah.
was like, you guys look like you copied and pasted some of our website deers that had orange that looked like our site.
Yeah, I try to give our developer examples, and he gets a little carried away with.
Takes it a little too literal.
Yeah, it's like he has our color palette. It's like it's this blue and it's this blue and it's white, and then he'll just yeah. And I'll give him an example, and then I gave him an example of a cart the other day, and red was their theme, right? And then all the buttons and call to A's are the exact same, or call to actions are the exact same red and the exact same font. I'm like, no.
Yeah, you need
But
to just have like a standard SOP. Here's our brand language.
yeah,
Like we have that for our marketing team. We
yeah.
have a color palette that they just, drop into everything we do.
Oh, it exists. That's what's frustrating. But he's good enough. I deal with it.
Yeah, makes sense. He's cost effective enough is what you meant.
No, he's
He just
excellent. He's excellent. He's an Upworker in India, $20 an hour, who has outperformed $250 an hour freelancers elsewhere.
Yeah, that's
I
premium.
could not be more pleased, but there are little things that frustrate me.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. What's next on our agenda?
Yeah, we better roll into engineering and R&D
Yeah.
swiftly because we're 50 minutes into a podcast.
Yeah.
And engineering and R&D, I can fire through this.
Sure.
I have hardly anything going on. We got some of the last bits of sheet metal on the MRS. There's no changes there that are happening. They're running through factory acceptance testing, I believe, next week. We also updated our Koval gripper because we've had challenges with the foam style. We went to the rubber cups. There was a couple of projects where it was like, this just isn't going to work well that we had in the bid cycle. They're supposed to be starting in sometime next year is what we're looking at. And we're like, we want a better solution for those. So we moved to Koval and the MRS as a testing cycle for the industrial stuff we see coming.
Yep.
Or larger industrial is probably a better way. And that gripper is like, oh my gosh, like I seriously would just throw the other one away. It's like night and day difference.
Yeah.
Like
that's awesome.
I really like it because we had for example, we have cases that have, they're hot melted and they have a hole in the center. And we have to be able to pick that up with a vacuum gripper. The foam one just literally couldn't do it.
Right.
This one picks it up no problem. We had one that has flaps that are folded over and then
Hmm.
taped, and that little bit of indifference because it's not perfectly flat. Why does my phone keep going off? Sorry about that. Just because it's not perfectly flat, it wouldn't pick it up. This one picks it up no problem. Like,
Yep.
and then there was another one where it was like, it was under the rating of what it said it could
Hmm.
pick, and it dropped it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's doing it now, which is great.
Yep.
Um, that's it for R&D for us and in the engineering department. I think the only other thing is tuning 1701 for factory acceptance that's coming up at the end of the month.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I can kind of speed around engineering R&D too, because I haven't been I think I mentioned like the last couple of weeks. I feel like I'm kind of good at like working on the business or being like the CTO in the business. I'm not good at doing both at the same time. Um,
It's pretty impossible to switch in the same week.
yeah, it is, and but we have the pain with some of the intro low design stuff, and I was like, I just need to hunker down and do it. And I did some of that stuff to try to get it rush manufactured, which I'm happy with. So, but these are like design tweaks and improvements. The most of the other stuff that's going on, it has been kind of like test projects, and I've been seeing how they've been going. And the ones that have been going really well are going to get deployed, and the other ones are going to take a little longer. So like with our 90-degree trunnion, axis mount, grip flip grip modules, we have one customer really wailing on it more than it was designed for. But rather than saying, oh, whatever, we're just like, okay, we're going to make a new variant and just exchange it for free. Sell these ones as, demo units or at a discount because we don't have a huge stock of them. And that was one project that I outsourced to the design work and the manufacturing to one small shop, and that project went really well.
Nice.
And then little incremental improvements, just like changing what screw we use. We moved all of our air fittings on all our grip flip grip modules they make all metal push to fit connectors. Did you know this? Even the little plastic tip at the end is metal. Wherever we can, we're moving to those, even though they're
Which brand are you using?
we tried a bunch. Right now we're using the McMaster Car Universal, the Universal
Yeah.
NPT connectors with a little ring. We're using the McMaster all metal ones with the brass plated ring.
Okay.
If you have a vendor for those that isn't McMaster Car, I would love it. Because I think we're paying like $4 an air fitting right now, which is fine. But I know McMaster's taken 20% on it.
We mainly use all Festo for all our air fittings and everything. I think some of them are all steel. A lot of those are plastic, but I don't think they're going to be cheaper than McMaster because Festo is known for premium pricing.
So yeah, that if anybody knows, by the way, where to get those all metal universal push to fit connectors, I would love to hear an answer that's not McMaster Car. But yeah, it's been like I've just been asking how can we get 1% better on all the things we already do, and I've been trying to, like at very least until I have bandwidth, and have like a head of engineering in place, like I'm just focusing on how can we improve the little things right now.
Makes sense.
That's all I got on engineering.
You
expected me to have more.
No, that rolls perfectly into company-wide updates and improvements, improving on the little things. I think the only update I have there, other than sales, which we already talked about, and marketing, which we already talked about, we passed our preliminary audit for A3. So we are now on the docket to get A3 certified here in November. They're sending the personnel to do the in-person audit. So I'm quite excited about that. That's a trigger event to get us rolling on getting ISO certified, ideally in the next 3 to 6 months after that. And we're also on the pursuit of becoming a UL shop for our cabinets, because those are the three things, and FANUC ASI are the three things that we've seen lose us deals in the last several years. And it's like, I just don't want to hear that objection again. I just want it to be a box that when a procurement person is auditing us or reviewing us on behalf of their manufacturing engineer or COO, we just check the box and it's not a question. Like, we got it. So I'm really excited to be checking some of those boxes that have made us better. I know I could complain about some of them, but at the end of the day, getting A3 certified has made our processes better.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's good. And I think you had mentioned you were thinking about doing AS9100 after that.
That would probably be one of the follow-ons. There's some automotive and aerospace
Mhm.
that would be following on after that. Those, I think I'm going to wait until I have the key account that's really needing it,
Yeah.
because it's not going to be that hard to get those once we have ISO and A3 and UL. Like, getting those, I'm not concerned about. And hopefully that's sooner than later because of some of the deals that I'm currently working on.
Yeah.
Little teaser, if you will.
Cool. Yeah. I know you got a ton of big stuff in the works that can't share. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I don't know what how I'm gonna share stuff on the podcast, because there's a few deals that have some very tight NDAs that
yeah.
are unique for, I guess not unique. It's an interesting beast that I just don't want to accidentally say something on a turn that could be
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, understood. Yeah.
So,
I mean, for us, for CIs, I think the biggest one, I want to thank you for pushing me to get the team for me not to be the only one making SOPs. When I went and looked into our SOPs, we had this issue, like the guys couldn't find stuff, and there were like 3 different Notion team spaces and 6 different places SOPs were held. We had, one guy who came in who was a great employee, but then demanded 4 times the the income of that position, who promptly left, and he put a bunch of SOPs that were excellent, but in the wrong place. So like, I put them all in one place and then assigned the people who work on a product to write the SOP for that, using the old ones as the standard. And that has been awesome. So just having solid SOPs for all the products in the most updated forms. And a lot of the CI stuff has just been on our website, and the next step for us is making those same changes to our marketing materials. Like, even on our website, there's so many places, like the very front 3 videos on the webpage that you scroll down to is like one of our main call to actions. There's not a single current rev of a product in them. It's all stuff from 2
but
years ago.
but
Yeah.
I would say you were turning revs like mad for the last,
Mm-hmm.
till I'd say 4 months ago. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Yep.
if that's the worst, because like we have
Right.
something similar with our MRS, but it's like we have the updated CAD in our proposal. I
Mhm.
disclose that when I'm in a meeting. Like, I'm not going to
Yep.
go out and reshoot this video just because we changed some sheet metal. Nobody's going to care. It's an industrial product. It does the same purpose, just looks a little bit different. We reduce the cost for you.
Yeah, but there's all these places though that you get friction. That friction can be lost deals or just more time, right? So like before we added step files to the website everywhere, you get all these questions like, where can I download the model?
Yeah.
Like
I see what you're saying there. Yeah, that's very clear. You need that stuff.
Yeah. And if there's stuff like, well, you mentioned in this Instagram video that the fittings are metal, but then the pictures are there, some percentage of people that triggers an email when they would have just purchased the thing. Some percentage of those fall off. Yeah, I'm just like focusing on that 1%. Like I'm focusing on the people down in my funnel. And even to that end, like we have West Tech next week, and we're just bringing the stuff that we've already had to the show right now, because I think we're already overwhelmed, and I think the people we want to talk to already know we're going to be there to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think trade shows need to be overly elaborate. Sometimes it is literally just being in front of the same people. Like,
Right.
the same thing I've talked about going to trade organization meetings.
Mhm.
The same thing at shows. Like, I've literally had people like, "Oh, you're still in business. All right, let's talk."
Yeah.
What was wrong with talking 3 years
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah, I mean, like the organizations haven't really worked out for us, like NTMA and whatnot. Like they're great organizations, but at least I haven't seen like any of those turn into sales. Like we generated plenty of leads.
It's years.
Years, yeah.
It's years for me. Like I'm looking back at some of the deals that I'm looking at the highest odds of closing right now, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I can trace back. I met this person at this Wisconsin manufacturing event 3.5 years ago.
Yep.
And I talked to them. I saw them at events. I never even really sent them many emails. Like, I sent them a couple, like, "Hey, it was great to meet you." And then all of a sudden they send an email like, "Hey, we've got this automation project. Been watching what you're doing on LinkedIn. Can you bid it?" And it's like, I haven't talked to you like hardly at all.
Yeah.
It's just, but it's all like some of these weird touch points that it all just compounds.
Yeah. One thing weird too that I had, like especially at IMTS, was when we were posting a ton of content, is that like people would know me or like seem to know me, and I'd have no idea who they were, and I felt like I was just blanking or something. That was interesting. Felt like a C or D list celebrity there.
Oh, yeah, you just have to be me. I just am terrible at names until like I've had a solid conversation with you. So I'm just always like, all right, have I met this person or
Yeah.
not?
No, I have that exact same problem, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've got to have like a, I've probably said this as well on the pod. Like, you tell me what car you drive, I'll oddly remember that, but I won't remember your name.
Yeah.
Just weird things.
Yep, for sure.
But that
Um,
covers company-wide updates and improvements. We had the minor challenges last week. I kind of covered mine a little bit. I'm still, what do I want to be doing and what's moving the needle? It's
yep.
it's getting me on those, let's say, bottom of funnel big deals or large strategic relationships is what I absolutely love. Like, that's
Yep.
been my last 2 weeks. I felt the most in flow. And then focusing on the educational details of marketing, like those are the things that I like. If when I look back at things I really enjoy on, like the focusing on growing, and then last on that list that definitely isn't least is career development for our team.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I really enjoy having candid conversations with team members, what they want out of their career.
Hmm.
There's a reason that I did
Yep.
our 90-day vectors. I don't know if I've talked about that on the
No, yeah.
podcast.
Remember
And I
you
should,
sent it to me.
yeah, I shared that with you. Like, I really enjoy that. Like the story of the fact that I was paid in a lot of promises and I never want my
Right.
team to feel that way. And I want them to have equal amount of accountability / leverage against me, if you will,
Yeah.
because we put it in writing. Like,
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah, no, you definitely inspired me with that because I was talking about wanting to do performance reviews. And, we rolled out every 30 days performance review for every single person, documented. I get out the plot, we record it. We have the little thing. And, I had like one conversation of like, I know you want to get to the next level. Here's the milestone. And at that point, your pay moves from X to Y. And just having that like so crystal clear, the getting the employee to know, like, I want you to move up, like, here's what you have to do, like that perfect clarity, that two-way accountability, like the super happy with that approach.
Yeah, I like not questioning what's going
Yeah.
through my team members' minds, and I like
Right.
them not
Yeah.
questioning what's going through mine. Like,
Yep.
you're not going to offend me in a meeting if you're like, Matt, I really wish you'd stop doing XYZ because
Yep.
breaks my flow. You're just a pain in the ass when you do it. Cool. I can change.
Yep. Yep. That was the very first thing I did. Because I kind of copied your template and changed a little bit of stuff. Is I just had them sit down and before I like folded the paper so they couldn't see any of the stuff that was already written on it. And had them just write like what is wrong with the company, what could be better about working here, what do you like, what do you not like, and I had to coax them to get out of their shell a little bit of like, no,
It takes
seriously,
it takes a little bit. Next thing that I've found works well too, once you get people thinking in this way and this cadence going, I'll start sending team members like prep questions. Like, all right,
oh yeah,
these are things that I'm gonna ask you in the meeting.
yep,
These are things that I want to talk about. I know your personality type is you don't like being hit with these questions and then expecting to answer.
hmm,
So here's a few days to prep. And
right,
I've found that helps the meetings. They tend to be longer, so make sure those questions aren't too long, too many,
yep,
and be very strategic about it. But I've found I've been able to learn a lot about the company and growing differently that way too.
yep.
So that might be something. I wouldn't layer it in just yet, or you're really going to overwhelm your team members. I'd probably give it 6 months of doing this.
Yeah, I'm trying to take it slow right now for sure. With hiring, with like we're considering like turning off paid per click right now, to try to like because SEO is working and I'm kind of like, okay, this is the rate we're hiring at, and yeah, I've made that mistake before.
Fair enough. Yours was doing strategy and focusing so you have less fires. I don't know
Yeah,
what that note was that I wrote,
so
but that's what
yeah.
it was.
So like the thing for me last week was to do we set out and said we're on Monday we were going to do our like first we've done the EOS implementer thing. I burned the money before with those guys. If you have the notebook, if you've read it, if you can actually follow the instructions, you can do it yourself. You don't need to spend 40 grand with an EOS implementer.
They're
Um,
accountability coaches, is my understanding of
it's
talking
a
to other
very
people.
expensive accountability coach, and they do the
That's what I've
thing
heard.
right. Yeah.
I've heard
But
they're good for companies that are like 5 to 10 times our size.
yeah. I mean, if you can do it on your own, but that's a hard thing to do, right? We said we were gonna do it on Monday. Honestly, I was just in such a shitty headspace. The caffeine didn't hit or something, and now we're doing it on Friday. So but for next, so hopefully that will get done. Yeah, we're gonna do it tomorrow.
Okay.
But for me, it's just to calmly and well execute West Tech, and not to try to continue my wave of calm, to be okay not bringing the newest, flashiest, newest rev of the intro load to the show when we don't have a display for it, right? Like, just being okay, trusting the process, knowing that things are really good right now, and trying to get some new good leads in the funnel.
Nice. I look forward to hearing about it. You said that what days is it?
It's the 7th or the 9th in Anaheim. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. You've got that, and then I've got 21st and 22nd, and 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. There's trade shows.
Geez, that's like back to back.
We have, yeah. So we are shipping the MRS from one trade show to the next.
Yeah.
Never done that. So it'll be interesting to see how that rolls. Taking the same team members. So we're going to see how that goes, because we're building out those AI tools. We have them built. Prototype will be getting tested at the first show. We're going to revise it while we're there, and then take it to the next show.
Awesome. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm thrilled.
Cool. What's your accountability item for my notes here for next week?
For this coming week, it sounds like you need to have this meeting tomorrow that was supposed to happen Monday, and you told us it was going to happen on Monday last week. So let's make sure that that's your accountability item.
No. What's yours?
Oh, what's mine?
I know what mine is.
Okay, so you're saying that's what yours is, or?
Yeah.
For
I mean,
me,
it should be that, because we're gonna go to West Tech. We're gonna be fine with West Tech. That's
man, I'm kind of trying to set this metric for myself of how many personal handwritten notes and honey jars I send out, because my numbers went down this week. They were up for a period. I really just there's 4 of them that were supposed to go out this week. I really just want to make sure I get those out, because they're big ticket clients, high potential. It just, for some reason, it slips because I got out of that flow over the last couple of years, and we just placed our order for another 250 jars of honey. So I got to make sure I'm maintaining. Actually, that's a great way to break that down. So what I need to send 5 a week, one per business day, needs to be my target of honey jars for the next 12 months. That's like, I need to put that in writing somewhere to myself.
Okay, yeah.
Like that's actually what I need it to be, is I want to mail 250 jars over the next 250 business days.
Well, right now, why don't you make it that you mail 5 of them or 4 of them by the next podcast? Because like once you get in the habit, right? It won't be so bad.
That the long-term strategy is to do that. So that's fair enough. I
got start mailing honey jars.
Well, maintain it. I get in a wave where I cruise them all out, and then I forget about it, and like just keep making the list. But I need to just constantly do it. It needs to be a weekly item.
I have started to consider getting an assistant. I know that I mentioned that last week.
We both talk about this like every month.
I know. And it's things like that, right? It's like, I have this goal. I know it could be good for the business, and then I don't do it. Or even stuff like, dropping my car off at the shop because they're only open during business hours. And like, I want to be here, right? I don't want to be dealing with dropping a BMW off at this shop, right? So I know it's
sell
stupid.
the BMW.
I could do that, but
that'd solve all the problems.
And leave a hole in my heart. But yeah, that made me think of that, because that's one of those things of like, Matt, did you send your honey jar?
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Sounds like a great end of the podcast, and we're already over. So thanks to all the listeners.
Thank you so much for listening to Matt and I's conversation this week on the Manufacturing Automation Podcast. If you like the podcast, please share it with a friend or give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We'll be back next week to continue sharing our respective journeys in life, business, and industrial automation. Thanks so much.